is Alex, and today we are finishing off the Lifestyles of the Laptop Cafe. This track is Sunrays. We've got it broken down for you, and let's go ahead and just dive into it. It's going to start off, we have this arpeggio going, it's like an arpeggiator synthesizer, just playing little notes here and there. Looks like they're playing, these look like eighth notes. And we have the kick, rim, and hat. Very simple beat, but like all these other tracks, or most of them in the album, if not all of them, I can't remember off the top of my head, volume's just going to rise up as the beat's playing. We also have this cool little do-do-do-do-do fairy tale synth. Love this. It just gives a nice mystical attitude. But we're going to keep going. And I'm going to point out something funny that happens with basically this whole track. It moves in 14-bar intervals, which is weird. But yeah, let's keep listening. Cool, so the track is playing, we're almost 50 seconds in, but I just want to point out something. First off, yeah, there's the vocal. Sorry, I forgot to put it in there at first. But this is where we get the first, at least this is where I want to show you how this is moving in a 14-bar interval. I think part of how we're actually still keeping interest so far is because this arpeggio thing is so weird. It's weird because, like I said, it moves in 14 bars, but also I think it's because of this, like at least for me when I was breaking down the track, it took me a long time to figure out when this was repeating, if it was repeating, so on and so forth. And I think the fact that it took me so long compared to all these other tracks, they were very quickly, is kind of part of the beauty of this track, in that this arpeggio thing's just weird, and it's hard to like, it's easy to listen to. You just hear each note happening as it happens. It's very clear. You can hear the notes. But because it's quite a long loop, and it's perhaps because it's at 14 bars rather than like 8 or 16 or something, that does seem to make it harder to digest mentally, which makes it easier to keep playing it for you without losing interest too. But yeah, so you'll notice here it goes like do 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 do. So I'll just play this first segment, and then I'll play it throughout the track, and you'll hear it repeating. Relax your mind. And then here, you can hear it here. Relax your mind. A good thing to hold on to is that do 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 that happens right here. It also happens over here. But yeah, the reason why I was able to tell it was, like, basically once the chords come in, this is a good signifier of the loop, just because it's chords. It's more, in my opinion, it's just a little more straightforward than this sonically. But yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, another thing to look at, like I said, 14 bars. So see, look, we got bar 14 at the top. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is this length, and then it repeats. So pretty cool. So now we want to keep it interesting. So they're going to add this chord situation. And this is really cool. And another thing to note, chords can be used to create a melody in and of themselves. Sometimes people just use them as the backdrop for another melody, but also they can be used as a way to drive to be the melody itself, just by using different chords. And that's what happens in this song, and that's really cool. It also happens in a track called Versions by Motorrat, which I really like, where the chords are just kind of the star of the show. But yeah. So check that out. We got a 14 bar chord loop happening.
Relax your mind, slowly unwind, catch some rays of the sunshine. Relax your mind, slowly unwind, catch some rays of the sunshine.
So this is just a beautiful loop. We have the bass line come in. Bass line's very simple. It's a 2-bar situation. It goes do 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 do. So it drops down on this second bar. If you're curious how it was a little hard to hear the bass because they really did a good job just keeping the part of the bass that we hear just to be mostly low end. So if you have a laptop, if you're listening on a laptop or a small speaker, it's gonna be particularly hard to hear this bass line. But this is how I was able to just like listen and hear what the bass line was doing. I just took a EQ and had it so I'm mostly just hearing the sub of the track. And so there I'm able to like just mostly hear the bass line. So that's just a cool trick. That's how because at first I wasn't sure if it was just one bar repeating over and over again, but it does sound like it's two. Go ahead and do that yourself. And by the way, email me if you want this project file, wilcox.alex@me.com, and you can take a closer look for yourself and check out all this cool stuff. But yeah, so this loop's going. It's going strong. Another thing I want to point out is how neat it is how this arpeggio, I keep calling it an arpeggio because it just sounds like it's a chord or something with an arpeggiator on it. And it's cool because this chord melody really takes the lead here. But then when it drops out, you'll notice that as this drops out, you get fairy tale synth filling in. Like, look, nothing here. Fairy tale synth coming in. And you're also getting the arpeggio going up higher than it has been. Like, usually it's dancing a little bit lower, then it goes up higher. So I just love how part of this loop functions so well by once one thing drops out, the other things like make a move to fill in the space sonically. So just listen for that, particularly here. Notice how once this drops, fairy tale synth and the arpeggio like fill in the gap, and then it comes right back in.
Relax your mind, slowly unwind, catch some rays of the sunshine.
But yeah, that's just kind of a cool thing to note. So then the track's just gonna keep doing that for a while. It's gonna let this beat ride for a while until we get a change at the blue. So let's listen until then, and then we'll talk about the blue section.
Relax your mind, slowly unwind, catch some rays of the sunshine.
this track. But yeah, so blue section happens. We can call this a B section, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna call it a B section just because the chords change a little bit. There's more space in between the chords because now we're really letting this fairy tale synth take over. He's playing this nice, beautiful solo that really fills up the space. We're gonna return back to the chord progression from earlier over here, but basically here the chords change a little bit. Again, more space, and the synth just takes over and just takes you on a ride. It's really nice. Then afterwards, they just go back to the loop from earlier and basically do what happens. Now we're kind of back to what always happens in I think basically all these tracks in the album, where you take the loop, you drop out certain parts at certain times, then you bring them back in. I guess actually they bring the solo back over here. And now you're going to have the solo playing over the chord progression from the beginning of the track. But yeah, let's talk about that a little bit once we get there, because I actually want to take a quick look at something too. But yeah, so after this beautiful section, you get this nice change by what we just talked about. Go back to the loop. And in some ways, you never actually totally left the loop because this arpeggio thing is still happening the same way it's always been happening. And then, of course, yeah, these chords come back. But yeah, it's really mostly this part that's a big change from the chords, at least, and then fairy tale synth taking over.
catch some rays of the sunshine.
Boom, and the track is done. So, like I said, over here, the solo does come back in while playing against the main groove. And when the solo came in over here, I feel like this was just like a dramatic, quote unquote, dramatic change from here to here because we had this change in chords. Eventually the chords do come back, but this just felt like a big departure, just like a really new part because we had never had the solo before and we'd only had this other stuff. So by the time the solo comes back in here, it's just kind of cool because now it's against a familiar backdrop and that just makes it feel a little bit different. And other than that, you know, again, if you've watched any of the 7 other videos, you should kind of get this trick by now, or any of the Drexciya videos, or just, this happens in so many tracks we've been over. But basically, the loop comes back in, and sometimes certain elements are gone, like in this case, the fairy tale's gone, and, you know, they drop out the bass over here, and these are just little things that create variation and keep interest in the loop. And eventually the track ends. I do like how it just ends on this vocal playing. Most of these tracks, I just went back over them. So many of these tracks on this album just end by fading down the volume. And this is one where it's cool where they just let the vocal ring out. I think they also do this on Let Me Be Me. They just give you the vocal and you can leave with that. So I think that happens on Let Me Be Me as well. Don't quote me on that. But so there you have it. Send me an email if you want the project or MIDI files. Thank you so much for watching. This was all part of a 1,000 subscribers special, was to break down the entire Other People Place album, and we're finally done. And yeah, more videos coming. Not as many, at least. I was doing like every other day. I need to finish some projects of my own. And yeah, but more are coming, so don't worry. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Alex Wilcox or at response.response. Thank you so much for watching. Much respect to the Other People Place. It's a great album. And have a good day, night, evening, whatever you're doing. Thanks for watching. Tell a friend, subscribe, like, comment. Adios.